All right. Good morning once again. So
Morning, sir.
we we started looking at the Excel intermediate statistical functions, which I believe we have concluded on the first two, the sum if and the count if, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if we were able to try something on our own regarding to what we learned last time. Think you got the
yes, sir.
video now. Did you say yes or
Yes,
no? Yes, right?
yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so can I quickly look at it just for 1 minute? Kindly share your screen. Let me see it.
Mhm, 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 mhm. Thank you.
We are seeing what we are seeing here is your WhatsApp. You should go to your Excel.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, I think it's coming up. All right. Well, that is good. Do you still have more under?
Okay, let me scroll down.
Okay. At least the structure of your report is good. At least you're able to perfect that formatting. Okay. I know Jane. Jane, I think Jane was waiting for data. I have sent you the data this morning. Have you seen it? Jane, I know you were asking for data. I believe you have seen the data. So, madam, you can stop sharing. Let's continue. That's good. But there's still one assignment that madam is still owing me. The navigation
Okay,
is like, have you done it that time? The very
I've done
first.
it. This file I
Okay,
opened. You
okay,
see this file I'm using.
okay.
Yes, I've gotten the assignment. I was even muted safe. I've gotten
The
the
data, I
data
mean.
this morning. But, yeah.
Okay. So let's try as much as possible before the next class to update our data or dashboard rather. Okay, so because of time, we'll just go straight to what we have for this section. Remember, this is one of the shortest session that I've ever had. That is handwork of Madam Blessing. So like I said, we started looking at how, as a data analyst, we can manipulate uh, some Excel statistical function to derive insights from a given data set. And we classify these sets of functions as Excel intermediate statistical functions, because we are done with the basic, out of which we have also concluded on some ifs and then, some if and the count if. So this session, we shall be looking at the last two. I asked us to write the remaining word down. So let me hear from you. What are the remaining two? Let just for me to know if we're on the same page.
Average if and if.
Average, if, and if. So how do we use them to analyze data? That is exactly what we are going to look at. So this is our data set again. I know we have all studied and understood this data. So the work I did last time, is obvious that they were not saved. So let's see if I'm starting afresh. Thank God that you have your own dashboard, so you just continue from where you stop. So let me just clear all these formats. and then also clear this as well. So, but because we all understand the data, I'm not going to spend much time explaining the data to us. So I will just go straight to the identifying the headers we want to work with. All right, so our analysis will be channeled to total profits, and probably we pick one of the string attributes. Let's still work with total profits against item type. So I'm going to work with these two. So let's start with the definition of the average if. Let's start with the definition of the average if. So what is the average if? Average if is another Excel intermediate statistical function. Average if is another Excel intermediate statistical function which allow us to summarize values within a given data set, which allow us to summarize values in a given data set, but divide the results of the summation by the total numbers of entry, but divide the results of the summation by the total numbers of entry. Now, just to explain it, if you observe very well, the thin lines separating or making this look different from sum if is that in the case of sum if, you add all the values and then you get the total, nothing happens again. But in the case of average if, that same work of sum if will be done, but it will divide it by the number of entry. I hope somebody got that. Let me get a response before I proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the difference between the sum if and the average if. So which means that almost the same steps that we follow. Now remember, I taught us how to build analysis table. I don't know if anybody can remind us what is analysis table, just to know if you have gone through your notes. Who can tell us what is the analysis table? Or what is analysis table? Can anybody try?
The analysis table is where you have your intermediate reports
Okay.
of your data. It can be in different it can be different function used in the same dashboard.
Okay, so just to cap it up, what she's trying to say here is that the analysis table, they are models which you are using to present your insights within your dashboard. So the dashboard is that interface that constitutes all the what? The analysis table. All right, so so we have to quickly develop that to answer. Let's draft our question. Remember that we need to be able to know what exactly do we want to achieve with the sum if. So looking at this data, I want you to write down your question. So the question that will lead to the application of the average if is that we are asked, so the question, let's put it in the right context. So the question will be, analyze the total profits average per item type. Analyze the total profit average per item type. So which means that we are asked to summarize and divide the results of all the values here based on the selected what? Item type. So we are going to add up all the values that can be traced to food, to baby food. Then once we sum them up, we divide it by the how many of them are in the data. Then the same thing to cereal. We are going to sum up all the value that can be traced to total profit, get the result, divide it by how many of them are in the data set. So that is what average is going to do. So to build my analysis table, I will just take this column value, copy it, and then go to my dashboard. And then I will try, let me put it here, Control V, and then remove duplicates. And to remove duplicate, I will simply go to, I'll go to Data tab, go to Data, and then select, I'm not sure, no, I'm not in Data yet. So go to Data, then select Remove Duplicate, because we just want an item to be mentioned instead of duplicating them. And because we don't want to start typing them one after the other, that is why we have to just do the copy. Then I will label here, this is total average. So let me just label it total average. Total average, for instance, that is total average. So that is total average. Now, this is where I'm going to write my function. So the function is average if, average if. So I also want us to take note of the syntax. Remember, I always have advised we should always understand the syntax, because when we do, we'll be able to know what exactly the function is asking for. So just as you can see, the function is asking for range. And what is going to be the range? So if you look at the way we apply sum, you understand with, what it means. The range is the selection of cells where the criteria is, where the criteria value is. Now, one of the best way you will always understand what is the range, let's write down the question first. Looking at the question will help us a lot to always know the range. So let me merge the whole of this cell in order for me to write my question. I believe we still understand all of this. All right, so I'm going to write my question here. And what is the question? The question is analyze what? Analyze what?
The
Analyze
total profit average,
the
the
total.
item type.
Okay, analyze the total profit average per what? Item type. Good. Item what? Type. Right, so that is our analysis question. It's very important you always make your question visible so that, because looking at it will enable you to know how you go with the calculation. So I'm not emphasizing on formatting for now. So you should do that when working with yours. So looking at the question, analyze the total profit average per item type. So which means that equals to average equals to average equals to average. Now, the range, that was the reason why I have to make sure that we are seeing our question. So I will know which one is the range. Now, the question says analyze the total profit average per item type. So which practically means that item type is the independent variable, while the total profit is the dependent variable. I believe we understand that information, dependent and independent. Because if you look at it, what it's saying is that all the values under profits can only be what? Sum up when an item type is selected. So if an item type is not selected, then there won't be what? Any average calculation. That is what you're saying. So which automatically makes the total profit depending on item type. Now, with that understanding, the independent is the range, the selection of where you have all the item type mentioned in your data set is your range. Then the criteria is the selection of any of these. So, but I need to go to my data sheet and acknowledge where all these values that will be used as the criteria are captured. So that is a range. So I'll go back to my data set and then take the whole of that column. So I think this should be the baby. Yeah, this should be the item type. So why I am selecting it with the alphabet, because I'm creating room for what? Future entry. Otherwise, I will have just highlighted the used cells. Then I will add a comma. Now, after adding your comma, this is just like you just acknowledge where the criteria value will be picked from. So the criteria value range has been acknowledged. So you go back to your dashboard and pick the criteria. So at the moment, we are calculating or analyzing average for baby food. Then we put a comma again because this function works with numbers. It's not like the count that we just stop after calling the two arguments. So we have to also specify, okay, now that you have defined the range where the criteria value can be searched for, now can you also show me the row, the column where you have the number that will be added up as soon as any of these conditions is met? So we have to go back to the data set and then capture everything we have under total profit. We have to capture everything we have under total profit as well. So just to enable room for future entry, so I will also select what? The letter O. So which means that this is going to be a dynamic dashboard. So if by tomorrow they add more records, the records will be analyzed automatically without you coming back as a data analyst to start the analysis all over. So now I'll press enter because I'm done with this. I'll press enter and then I should have gotten the results in my dashboard. So as you can see, so if you are to tell the story of your data as a data analyst, this is the total average of profits made from baby food. Now we just double tap here to create others. Now remember one thing I told us last time, that anytime you perform your analysis, this is a tabular model. This is a tabular model, and tabular model sometimes makes it difficult for us to, draw our conclusions. When I say conclusions, I'm talking about writing your executive reports that will state clearly what are your observations. After the analysis, what did you discover? Each time you analyze, you must bear that in mind. What happened then? Because it is when you are able to present that the company will not know, oh, since the data analyst said this. Now, and at times, you must have also recommended steps for them to take. So most company loves that kind of data analyst that will not just tell them what happened, that will also back it up where things are not going well, what to do. So in that case, we have reduced the stress of thinking through. So you have given them direction, and that is why we exist as data analysts. So this program is not just demonstrating your technical skill. It's beyond that. It has to do with what do you see? What do you see? It's just like the way some people some of the CR will just see somebody and tell you all your life challenges, but they will not give you one solution. If I ask you, will you go to that kind of place again? Somebody telling you this one is doing you, that is doing you. At the end of the day, you say go. I'm asking no data analysts because we are working in that same way. Somebody analyzing all your challenges. Will you go to that kind of place again?
No, sir.
No. So the same way, we data analysts, sometimes when you finish your analysis, but particularly where you find out that there are so many challenges, don't just submit the challenges. Think through and find out whether you can suggest any solution. That is the best way they will relate to you. So I told us that if we start, we have to identify the trend. The company need to know after your analysis which of these items generated the highest profit. That is number one thing they need to know. Number two, they need to know, okay, which one follows. They need to know the ones that are doing almost the same thing. The one that the performance of the profit generations are almost the same. They need to know the list. Then when you subtract the difference between the highest and the least, you need to also spell it out. That you discover that the margin between the highest and the least is this. So the assignment I'm going to give up, because this is a kind of long holiday. From now till Saturday, you have enough time. What you are going to do is that you will get a different data set. Remember, I've taught us how to go to a cargo. Or what will happen is that I will send a data set to that group so that all our analysis can look alike. Now, what you are going to do, you are going to use all this, both the basic and the intermediate, to perform analysis. Then you will now, how many of us know how to use PowerPoint? Please let me know. Let me know whether any one of us here know how to use PowerPoint.
I can try.
Okay, so PowerPoint is very easy to use. Even if you don't know it, just go to YouTube. I did a video some time ago when I was training somebody on the basic, if I can still find it. Think about 3 classes, cover everything you need to know on PowerPoint. Or you can search it from the YouTube page also. Now, you can just search randomly. Just go to YouTube and say how to use PowerPoint. By the time you watch any video there for like 30 minutes, you know how to go about it. So what I want you to do for me is this. At the end of each of your analysis, or you do your analysis, your technical work, just like I've done now, then you now sit down again, go to PowerPoint, take your note and pen, or go to PowerPoint. I think you should write them first on paper before you go to PowerPoint to present them. Now, like this data that I've analyzed now, I need to write, okay, observation one. Observation one is that after my analysis, I discovered that baby food has the highest generated profit. You put it in word. Let's say that is the one you discover. You put it in word. And I also observe that after baby food, so baby item type has the next highest generated profit. You put it in word. Then all your observation, the list, you put everything in word, because you see those information you are putting together in word is what you are going to submit to. You are not going to be submitting all this work to the company. The company have no business with your fancy dashboard. Your dashboard and whatever is just for you to be able to derive the insight that you are going to put in writing.
The insights you're going to put in writing, is it in the same sheet that are going to do it, or create another sheet?
No, another sheet. Another sheet. But like I'm saying now, you should do it in PowerPoint if you can use PowerPoint. But if you cannot use PowerPoint, then put it in Excel, put it in another sheet. It's still okay. But if you can use PowerPoint, fine. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Okay. So in fact, let me just do one. Let me just do one so that you know because I'll be requesting for this subsequently, so that we can also learn how to write report. Report writing is part of data analysis. Your technical skill, your report writing, then report writing, and then storytelling. Of course, when you are writing the report is just like the storytelling as well. So now, let's say this is your PowerPoint. There's a reason why I decided to try it with us. Jane, you can disturb with your audio. If you are not talking, you mute. Okay, so I want to show us something. Let's say this is your PowerPoint. Then you go to Insert. You want to write text, maybe particularly a graphic text. You come to Insert here, and then let's say I pick from any of these. So I will write the first slide. You write your name, and you say that what maybe or the year, just like the way we did project in school. So just write your name. Let's say Eguero. So this will not stamp out our time. Eguero Prosper. So I'll put it, or I can just say data analysis.
Hello, sir. Sorry, is it at home? Is it at home that you click and got this PowerPoint?
No, this write-up.
No, where you got the PowerPoint. I know where you got the write-up, but the PowerPoint, how did you get this?
You just click on the search box and type P. I just type P from my search box, and then I was able to see it here. Or you can type it in full.
Okay.
So now, let's say, now your presentation, you have to have color scheme. There should be a set of colors you are working with that will make sure that the values will be visible. So I'll put this one here, Control D to duplicate it. Data analysis projects. Data analysis project by, I will just duplicate this. So we are going to be doing this so much, so make sure that you data analysis project by Eguero Prosper. Then the last one is so I'll just put the year 2026 example. So if I have my picture, I can bring it. But if you don't have your picture, fine, it's okay. But just make sure that you give us something good. This is presentation. So let me see if I can take this out here. I wanted it to be where it will not disturb us. Right, so now the next thing I'm going to do, just to make my slide look a little bit designed, so I'll go to Insert and then go to Shape. Then just form a design here. Just tape the whole of this edge, and then just give it a fill shape, maybe something, maybe a color like this. Go to Shape Outline and say what? No outline. Right, all of this is just to add a little design, because if you are going for company presentation, you need to come up with something good. It's part of it too. It's part of it. So since I did not use trying to centralize everything, so now once you are done with this slide, maybe this particular side that we put this, you can write a pivoted, maybe a kind of a vertical text, putting your company name there, and then maybe your phone number there, just to indicate something. So you can do that. Then you right click on this slide that you have created and select duplicate slide. So to give you, because everything has to be unique. Don't use too many color, because I want to repeat the design in all the slide. So I will just come here and edit this one and delete some of this. Oh, I hope this will not, I'm supposed to close by 5:30, but let me see. But this is also very important, because if I say you should go and watch YouTube video now, you come back now, you're telling me I could not do it. So now, here, I'm going to, talk about my data. I will just write what about the data, or about my data. So the data set you are given to analyze, like the way we have this particular data now. Before you start your analysis, you have to tell us what your data is all about. To tell us what your data is all about. So now the key information that you must ensure that you give to us is the header. You list out the headers. You tell us that your data is made up of maybe 20 headers or attributes and probably 1,000 inputs. You don't need to just summarize it that way. Now, what I'm going to do, I will just highlight. I believe you know how to highlight. I will copy the header, Control C, because I'm still working with Office application, so I can paste here. So I will come here and then go to Insert, then select Text Box. Where is it here? Select Text Box here, and then click, then paste it, Control V. So it will automatically bring all the headings. So you can now start modifying it, or you can go and list there yourself. So if you don't want to copy because of time, so you can. But I think you should just write them out on paper and then and write them so that you can list them as normal delimited format. So now, but I will just abbreviate, but for your own, make sure that you mention them. So because of time. So let me go back to my insight again. Go back to my insight. I will just do a brief example. So let me choose this. So I will say, about my data. I will say my data is my data set is an or is a sales inventory data with the following details. The following details. I can brief it, total number of header, total numbers of attributes. You can use your same thing as header. Attributes are, maybe if you have done your counting, maybe they are 14, and total number of record or entry are maybe 1,000. So with this, you have given some details about your data. So you can go back to your home. I hope we are following, and then reduce it. You can choose different alignments. Best alignment, you can use this alignment. You can use center alignment. So just choose the alignment that you know that is giving you the best presentation. And then I can increase this or reduce this, or let me just put it like this. So you are done with that one. If you want to add more design, for your color to be uniform, I will click here and just change it to this Perfect. Then this might be too far away from this. Okay. All right. So now you will now duplicate. So this is where I actually want to get to before. So here I will now start giving updates about my insight. But before that, you bring out your analysis, your proposed analysis question. So you specify, you list them. Analysis question, you answer. Analysis question. Please pardon me. This is very important as far as this field is concerned. You should know how to write your report, because this is what you are going to present either in Word. You can write this in Microsoft Word if it requires printing out. But if it requires maybe presentation, maybe you have to go there and with a projector you explain. Sometimes you have to put all the information together in your PowerPoint. You don't even need to take them to Excel for once till the end of your presentation. So analysis question, that is if you are able to detail everything here. So analysis question, you bring out your analysis question. What is the total sum of profit per item type? This and that, this and that. You list them. If this single slide could not complete, could not contain everything, you continue it. You create another slide. So you until you highlight all your questions. So now here is my observation so that I can get to where we are going to. So here I'll say what? Analysis, observation, or analysis. There are different terms you can use as an expert. You can say analysis, what? Insights. Because these are actually what the company want to use. This is whatever you put under this, whatever that comes under this is what they will use to guide themselves in terms of decision making, and that is what they want to see. So if I go back to the data set now, let's analyze that one and bring out some insight. So remember that we have already done the analysis, but I need a graph for me to easily see the pattern, the trend, and the range, which is also what the correlation between the highest and the least. And like I taught us last time, you just simply highlight the whole of this and then click on this quick analysis icon. Now, this is to enable me to get the insight as fast as possible for me to publish them in that PowerPoint. So with this that I've derived, you can see that I can go to the PowerPoint and say what? After my analysis, observation 1, cosmetic generated the highest profit. So I'll go to so you can see how I'm getting the insight from my analysis. That is just your technical work. So I will just go to insert again, select the text box, and then I say what? I can use abbreviation observation, OBS 1. After my analysis, or let me just, after my analysis, I discovered that cosmetic, you can put it, cosmetics, that they will know that you are highlighting it, generated the highest profit. Now, it is not right for you to just stop here. You must point out, you must lift that value with the sum of, you call the value. So let me go back to the data just for me to peep. What is the value? If you hover on it, that is what? 1119696.0.5. So you go back to your PowerPoint. The company need to know. It's not enough for you to just say it generated the highest profit. With how much they want to know. So with the sum of in naira, you can decide to say you want to put it in naira 1196996. So if it's too long like this, you can break it down somewhere. It's allowed. You can break it down somewhere. So done. I don't know what's that. Okay, so you can break it down somewhere, but if you are breaking it down, you have to calculate your sentence. After my analysis, I discovered that maybe we should break it down here. Then you can bring it here. What is happening? Something is. If I break it down here, you can zoom it. Then I can also use this to display it. So this can be your first, and then you have the second observation, the third observation. Now, this is where I'm going. You have to back it up with the graph that you plotted. You are permitted to lift your graphical model just to back it up so that as you are presenting, they can easily see it. So this is your graph. So now what we are going to do, after you have formatted the graph to make it look very well, remember, if I switch here now to give me a color graph, if I click here to go back to what? One color. So I'll prefer color graph because color graph will make it more visible. So I can come here and change the color. Oh, no. The place where I wanted to change the color. Good. So change the color. I want the color to be more sharp. So let me switch. Okay. So let's say I'm taking this. Now, how am I going to take this picture? So let's try something. This is an object. So if I right click on it, because PowerPoint is still part of Office program, I believe there should be compatibility. So if I go back to PowerPoint now and I press Ctrl V, you can see that what? Perfect. You are able to what? To bring the graph. So you table it like this. That is after where you have detailed it. So your next class, you are going to do a presentation on this. So I will call you out one after the other. You will not go to Excel. So from detail everything here, all your findings should be outlined here. So when you are saying that, you must have added, if possible, we have, but even here, if you hover on this, let's say you are on PowerPoint, that is why I shouldn't take it as an image. You should copy and paste it because it's still communicating the value. So while you are analyzing, where you are not able to write the item type on the bar, while you are presenting, you can just hover on it and then it will be showed there, and make sure that the value align with what you must have pointed out here. I hope somebody understood what I've done so far. I just have to squeeze time to do this so that even though we don't have time to go to internet to go and watch more about PowerPoint, you should be able to know how. It's a must that every data analyst must understand PowerPoint, because that is, if you're dealing with advanced company or individual, you are going to be presenting your insight with PowerPoint. Any question? So that we can go and round up with the if. I think I can still meet up with the if before that 5:30. Hope it's clear. So when you go through the video, Jane, hope you are with us. Okay, I believe you are with us. Okay. Now, let's round up with the second function we said we want to look at, which is the if function. So I want us to write the if function, or the if logical function in a cell. The if logical function in a cell is used to assign value. It's used to assign values, comma, it is a conditional statement or logical function. Now, why did I use the word conditional statement? It means that is just completion. That is, it has true and false value. So each time you are using the if, it means that it's a logical function that has two values, true value and what? False value. Value that will be outputted if it's true, and value that will be outputted if it is not true. Now you can see that we have been using the if together with the what? The sum, together with the count, together with the what? Average, because those analysis were conditional analysis, were probability analysis, analysis that you don't know whether the criteria will be met. But now we are talking about applying the if alone, applying the if alone. So what I am going to do is that let's assume that we are given this data set. There are so many scenarios where you can apply the what? The if statement. Now you have generated your report like this, and probably you want to give an award, or you have something you want to give to your employees based on their profit performance. So you have already know, let's say you have the name of the managers here. You have the name of the managers here that probably have generated profit across different products based on their respective sales in their locations. And you now want to give them some item, want to reward them. So I can just bring in here reward. So let me add this to the data set, reward. I'm just using this as an example. So if you go back to the data set, you can get the best scenario for using this. Now, after this, you want to reward them with some items. So what you do to help yourself, you list out those items somewhere. So let's say I have a car to give out, and I have generator to give out, and then we have a fan to give out based on the profit generated. Now, we will now construct a logical statement that will determine who should receive car, who should receive gen, and who should receive what? Fan. Because I don't want to manually assign them. I may wrongly give somebody car, meanwhile the person do not qualify to get the car. So that is why I want to use the conditional statement to assign this item. The function is very long, but you just have to follow it. So I'll start writing the function equals to, then at is an operator that indicates the location, because you are about referencing where you have the values that will be used as the criteria for assigning what? This car to each of them. So you now say at, this is the criteria. You target the criteria. We are assigning this car based on their total average generated, for example. So I will say, I will now capture this at if first, then you open the bracket. At if, remember I told us is a logical test, take note of the format. Logical test, value if true, value if false, like I've explained before. So value, I will define the true value that we qualify to be given all this first, then I will now end with the false value. So the true value, before the true value, you have to get the logical test. Where are the values that will be used to validate your statement, to know whether somebody is to be given car or gen? So that is your logical test. Your logical test is this. You just select one of this, not until you highlight everything. Excel is sensitive enough to know that this C9 is representing what? Everything here. Now, you will now bring in your operator again. If somebody, now you grade them, you range the numbers. Now we have we have 500,000, we have 300,000, we have 400,000. So I'm going to group, let me start from profit above 900,000. I want to start with that. profit above 900,000. I want them to receive car as gift. So how do you communicate profit above 900? This is what you do. You will now put the greater than sign. That greater than sign accommodates people who profit generated is above certain value. Then I'll put equals to. That is, if the profit is exactly 900,000, 1, 2, 3, then I'll put a comma. Assign, you use the quotation. Assign what? Car. Assign car. So I can come here and pick this, but let's manually type it. Assign what? Car. Then you assign again to close it. Then you put a comma. So you are true with that. That's the first true value. The second true value are those people that are qualified to get what? Gen. So you start again at if, then open the bracket, then tab this same location, then greater than, and then equals to, then from 800,000, 1, 2, 3. Assign what? Gen. Assign gen, and then the same thing, then comma, then another range again. Profits, we start again at, I hope we are getting it, at if, tab the same location, greater than, equals to. You can use equals to. If you use only equals to, or you can also use less than. If you use only equals to, it means that any value that's equal to this margin that we are mentioning will not be included, except the value that are above them. But I'm giving room for above and exactly. So equals to, let me go to 500, because this is the last one. 1, 2, 3. And then assign what to this set of persons? Assign what? Fan. Assign fan. And then this is the last true value. So we have already declared 3 good true value. Then before you now declare the first value, if none of this is met, what will happen? You put a comma. You don't start at if for that one. You will just put it not qualified. Just put it in string. Just put a comma and say what? Not qualified. Not qualified. Please let me get a response. Hope is well explained. It's well explained, right? Because we want to execute now. Let me get a response from at least one person.
Yes, we are
Okay.
getting it.
Okay, so now, after, remember that what? From here to this place is your true values. So Excel will check all this first. If none of this is met before it will display what? Not qualified. Now, we were opening brackets, so we have to start closing the bracket with the same number of brackets that you open. So you can easily count from your formula bar 1, 2, 3. Remember that you did not open bracket for the last one, so you don't count it. So I have 3 brackets, so I will press my shift and 0 to close the first bracket. You can see the way it's closing all the bracket. Then you hit enter. So this person is fan. Why is this person given fan? So I will double click so you can see some persons are not qualified. Can anybody interpret it for me? I want somebody, because you have to write your observation also in the PowerPoint, that after giving the item, you discover that what? So numbers of persons are qualified for fan, are qualified for what? Gen, are qualified for car, and so number of persons do not qualify. You have to put the report there. Now, this is where you now bring the what? The count if. That means you can see the connection now. So quickly, let me see if I can finish that. So if I say count if here, select what? This range. Select this range, right? Remember our logic the other time, comma, where criteria is what? If the assigned value is what? Is fan. I want to know how many of them. How many of them do we have? Is it not just one, which is correct? Are you with me? Which is correct. So we have one. So if, for example, I come here now and change here now, maybe to fan, this will update. So you can see how I communicated. Let me do another one now, how I invoke one of my skill, which is the one we just did now, because now I want to go and write my report. So I'll bring in the count if to count the unique value, and then I'll go to my PowerPoint and write, okay, fan count 1. Then I'll do the same for, let me do it again, count if, please, we are rounding off now, we have 2 minutes. I like keeping to time. So count if this range, right, comma, I want to go for how many people are not qualified, because you need to present your report. I'll pick one of this one. If you are picking like this, don't pick this one. If you pick this one, it will not count this one. So you pick from the first one. Then I'll press enter. There are 9 of them. If you count, they are not qualified. You put it in writing. You write the same function for what? For jet. You write it for what? Car. And then you total your report. So this is where we are going to stop. Any question? We have done much with the 1 hour. Any question? Any question, please?
Yes, not yes, sir. Maybe with the video we can understand better.
Okay, the video will not come on time. Maybe till tomorrow morning or in the evening, because I'm leaving this laptop. I have to, the battery running there. I have to come back, and maybe during my evening class, I will charge the laptop. You know, we are all in a city of, I don't want to call the name. We all know what is going on with light. So there's no question. If there's no question, Jane, are you okay? I hope it's clear. And with the video,
Yes,
you
so
can.
but because that place you wrote, this is breaking. That place you wrote not qualified. Sure you can as well use the word qualified.
Yes. You can change, you can use any word. It could be your sales inventory, whereby you want to identify certain customers. Maybe, okay, let me, madam, please, I know that, okay, this is exactly time. Please, let me just take 2 minutes to explain something. Now, let's assume that this is your balance. This is balance in your data set. Maybe this is an sales inventory where you have customer amount that they are owing you, and you want to program there that, okay, how do you now identify customers that are owing you above certain amounts? So once you see that, then you can now start calling them on phone. Hey, Oga, your balance is overdue, or your balance, I think you are due. Maybe you set a margin that once somebody balance is above it, that person should be followed up, because the person should go with the balance. The company can be affected. So that this, in that case, in the place of total average will not be the balance, and then you have all their values here. So you can now create what? Maybe notification. That will be the heading. It may not be reward or something. That you now write that, okay, based on the values here, if a value is greater than that value that the company has given you as a margin, that once anybody crosses that line, that customer is owing too much. So they have to be a kind of, we have to place the person on a standby, or to be reaching out to the person. So you will not run it the same way we did it now, but the statement will not be like this. It will not be that if the value here is greater than or above this, is greater than or equals to this, then call the customer. It will not be what? Call the customer. Then if it is not, that is if it is less than, then do not call. So which means that that place of false will not be what? Do not what? Call yet. I don't know if you understand it. So there are so many scenarios where you can use it. Even the result sheet that they prepare in secondary school for grading students that score value that qualified to be given A, B, whatever. Is this same logic that they use? That's for those schools that are using Excel. All right, so we stop here. I hope that, so this brings us to the end of intermediate. So write the next topic down. So the next class we shall be looking at data analysis or analysis with Excel advanced statistical function. Remember, we started with basic, intermediate, and then we will look at what? Advanced. I think we will finish the advanced since it's a long time class on Saturday. All right, so please, we still encourage that you help us to talk to friends around you, we need more students. We need more students. So if you have anybody around you that are looking for a platform like this where they can learn these skills, please feel free. And when they come, we have a commission to give you just to say thank you. So please help us to propagate the good news. All right, so have a nice week and remain blessed. See you on Saturday. Make sure you stay on my neck to send the video.
Okay, sir.
All right, bye for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.